That's all of them. The court ruled, and instead of respecting it, Schiff attacked our system. He doesn't understand America.
This isn't justice. This is Trump's America twisting the law. The Supreme Court has become his puppet.
A Supreme Court ruling shakes the political world, and Trump's response leaves Adam Schiff reeling. Watch as the truth unfolds in this explosive showdown, only on New Flame Stories. Asterisk. A political storm erupted after the Supreme Court upheld Texas 2026 congressional redistricting map, effectively booting Jasmine Crockett and Al Green from their districts. Outraged, Senator Adam Schiff immediately launched a fiery attack on President Donald Trump, accusing him of influencing the decision. But Trump wasted no time firing back, completely flipping the narrative in a brutal response that left Schiff scrambling. This video breaks down every moment, from Schiff's fiery outburst to Trump's explosive clapback that shook Washington. Asterisk. The news broke suddenly and powerfully, shocking everyone. It was barely 9:20 a.m. when the alerts started buzzing. Across America, the Supreme Court had upheld the Texas redistricting map, and then came the bombshell. Jasmine Crockett and Al Green were being removed from their districts. Texas gasped, and Washington froze. Reporters scrambled, phones buzzed, and staffers dropped their coffees. The political world had shifted in an instant. Asterisk. In the West Wing, aides rushed to the Oval Office, expecting confusion. But President Trump was already there, calm, arms crossed, watching the news with a stillness in his eyes that signaled something deeper than just anger. As protests began outside, Senator Adam Schiff rushed to social media, visibly enraged. He attacked the Supreme Court, claiming they were upholding Trump's desires instead of justice. Asterisk. Schiff believed he had the American people on his side, but something didn't feel right. Even some who didn't support Trump were asking, why is he so angry? Meanwhile, in the Oval Office, Trump watched the attack on the screen, quietly saying, he still hasn't learned. It was clear Trump wasn't going to stay silent. Asterisk. As the chaos continued, Schiff's words grew more desperate. This isn't justice. This is Trump's America twisting the law, he shouted. The frustration in his voice was palpable. He wasn't the confident politician America knew. He was a man losing control. Back in the Oval Office, Trump stood calm and collected as he watched Schiff unravel. Asterisk. By 9:47 a.m., cameras were on Schiff, and his response was frazzled. His voice cracked with frustration, but inside the Oval Office, Trump remained calm, understanding the political moment better than anyone. He still doesn't understand the people, Trump muttered. His calm demeanor contrasted sharply with Schiff's panic. Asterisk. Schiff's staff watched helplessly as his approval ratings dropped and reactions flooded in. Across the country, the public was reacting. Texas was celebrating, while California was in chaos. Schiff seemed to be losing his grip on the narrative, and then Trump picked up his phone. A sense of anticipation filled the room. He was about to respond, and when he did, it would flip the entire situation on its head. Asterisk. At 10:06 a.m., Trump's response went live. His message was calm, strong, and unapologetic, crying, Adam Schiff, the king of hoaxes, is at it again. The Supreme Court just delivered justice for Texas. Your witch hunts failed. Within seconds, the internet exploded with reactions, and Trump had once again turned the tables. Asterisk. Meanwhile, inside Schiff's office, the realization of defeat hit hard. He continued to speak to reporters, but his words faltered. Trump's post had left him stumbling, his confidence shattered. The political storm was now in full force, and Schiff's attempt to undermine Trump had backfired, leaving him scrambling to recover. Asterisk. Outside, Americans were reacting in waves, some in celebration, some in disbelief. But inside the Oval Office, Trump stood unaffected, knowing he had just changed the political landscape once again. Asterisk. Inside the Oval Office, President Trump quietly watched the reactions pour in. He didn't mock, Schiff, gloat, or brag. Instead, he simply said, people deserve fairness. That's all they've ever wanted. It was a deep, emotional pause, and he continued, Texas fought for this. The court ruled, and Schiff, instead of respecting it, attacked our system, our justices, our people. Trump shook his head, not with anger, but with the disappointment of a father seeing someone miss the point. He doesn't understand America anymore. Asterisk. Outside, the cries of Americans, some of joy, some of fear, some of relief, filled the air. A divided nation was now united in one thing: the intensity of the moment. The stakes were clear and the emotions raw, but Trump wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. Asterisk. By 10:41 a.m., the political firestorm had turned into something that even Washington insiders struggled to comprehend. This wasn't just about Republicans versus Democrats anymore. It was a national moment of reckoning, a soul check for the country. Trump's calm, steady message was reaching people who hadn't felt heard in years. His words didn't divide, they clarified. Asterisk. Meanwhile, Schiff's world was collapsing. His staff scrambled, and reporters circled. The pressure was mounting. His phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages, angry, desperate pleas for him to stop speaking before things got worse. But Schiff couldn't hide anymore. Not after Trump's message. Not with millions demanding answers. He stepped away from the crowd into a quiet corner of the Capitol, hands shaking as he read the responses. "This is embarrassing," he muttered under his breath. Outside. Across Texas, people were reacting. In Dallas, crowds gathered outside the state capitol, some crying tears of joy, others hugging strangers. In Houston, small businesses proudly displayed signs, reading, "Fair maps at last." Across rural Texas, families prayed together, grateful that their voices would no longer be ignored. Meanwhile, Trump quietly watched these reactions, his face filled with quiet gratitude. Reactions were overwhelmingly in Trump's favor, even from moderate Democrats. "It's not about winning," Trump said, his voice breaking slightly. "It's about fairness. It's all they've ever wanted." His sincerity stunned his aides, who felt the deep truth of his words. But the calm wouldn't last. At 10:52 a.m. CNN ran a breaking headline. Schiff to address Trump's post. Emergency statement expected. The whole nation tensed, awaiting Schiff's response. The anticipation was palpable. At 11:04 a.m., millions of Americans braced themselves for Schiff's so-called emergency statement. But when Schiff appeared, in the Capitol briefing room, gripping the podium, his face drained of color, it was clear something was wrong. He wasn't calm. He wasn't centered. He was reacting out of fear. For nearly 5 seconds. Schiff just stared at the cameras. The silence, brutal. Finally, he spoke, but his words came out frantic. "The president's statement is dangerous, misleading, is trying to manipulate the country's emotions." But even as he said it, Schiff seemed to realize the mistake. His response wasn't the confident attack he'd hoped for. It sounded desperate and bitter. Reporters jumped in, challenging him. "Senator, how do you explain the emotional reactions from Texans who say they finally feel seen?" The questions piled on, each one more pointed than the last. Schiff's world was crumbling in real time, and America was watching. Back in the Oval Office. Trump watched the chaos unfold. "He doesn't understand the people," Trump said, quietly. His words carried weight, and America felt it. Schiff had attacked the court, attacked Texas, and now he was learning the consequences of attacking the people. Meanwhile, millions of Americans, especially in Texas, felt a sense of relief. They weren't just watching history, they were living it. Trump's response wasn't a victory lap. It wasn't about pride. It was about something deep. People, fairness, giving them a voice again. By 12:14 p.m., the sky over Washington began to clear, but inside the Capitol, the storm was far from over. Schiff's meltdown had become the defining moment of the day. His credibility was in ruins, while Trump's calm, measured response had left the country feeling heard and understood. Don't forget to hit that like button if you feel the power of this story. Drop your thoughts and reactions in the comments, but let me know how this moment resonated with you. And if you haven't already, subscribe now so you never miss another game-changing story. Join our exclusive membership for behind-the-scenes content, early releases, and stories, only for our most dedicated supporters. Your engagement helps spread this message far and wide. Let's keep sharing the truth, standing strong, and working together to make America stronger than ever before.